Romeo and Juliet. David Patrick Fleming and Rachel Kearns in Romeo and Juliet in Hyde Park, Dahlia Cats by William Shakespeare, directed by Frank Cox O'Connell. Until Sept. When at the Hyde Park Amphitheatre, 1873 Bloor Street. Canadianstage.com or 416-368-3110. Even Shakespeare in Hyde Park has caught soccer fever. On the same weekend as the World Cup final, Frank Cox O'Connell's production of Romeo and Juliet opened at the Hyde Park Amphitheatre, visually and thematically inspired by soccer hooligan culture and the terrace wear fashion trend popularized by Drake and others. Think high-end tracksuits, polo shirts, spanking white trainers. Article continued below. These choices give the production a youthful, driving energy and a critical edge. This is not a celebration of the beautiful game, but an exploration of what Cox O'Connell calls arbitrary allegiances that have very real consequences in the world. Sports fans' love for their team, which is here equated with Shakespeare's Capulet-Montague rivalry and the tragedy that results. Peter Fernandez's boisterous Benvolio introduces this concept straight away by teaching the audience a call-and-response chant which underscores his spirited delivery of the play's opening monologue. Two households, both alike in dignity, along with live drumming and the sound of vuvuzelas. Hyde Park. Shakespeare is always trimmed down to a single act, and here the editing drops the action directly into a street brawl in which Benvolio and Tybalt Jacobemon square off with a pipe and a broken wine bottle rather than rapiers. The young male characters wear soccer jerseys, blue for Montague, red for Capulet, and the senior members of the households echo this color coding, underlining that these rivalries are the product of generations of feuding and aggression. Costume design is by Shannon Lee Doyle. Rachel Kearns' Juliet is no floaty innocent, rather a sulky teen in a cut-off Les Mis t-shirt, a strong choice sustained by her emotional commitment and fresh line readings. David Patrick Fleming plays Romeo too much as a disaffected youth at first, in that his vocal quality is monotonous, but his performance comes to life once he and Juliet meet. Wearing neutral white, they bring an impulsive, young lusty quality to the balcony wooing scene, breathing life into one of the most familiar exchanges in English-language drama. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks. Mac Fife is very well cast as Mercutio. He has an untamed, on-the-edge energy that builds in the Queen Mab speech into what seems like a psychotic break, unnerving and effective. Eamon brings a wiry menace to his portrayal of Tybalt, and Jenny Young is a delightful nurse. Though much younger than the role is traditionally played, she finds a hilarious way through circuitous speeches, and is a great match for the male characters who try to mock her in the public square. The fast pace of the action is refreshing. The performance lasts 1 hour 40 minutes without intermission, but for me it brought a downside, in that the nurse and the friar, Jason Cadue's support for Romeo and Juliet's romance seems somewhat arbitrary. There wasn't time or space to offer much context for why these characters buck the dominant culture and risk their lives. This is not intended as a negative comment against fine performances. The cast of 12, also including Gordon Bullen, Frank Chung, Navdej Sandhu, Amakama and Naomi Wright, sometimes look lost on the large outdoor stage, no matter how much work designers Doyle, Ken McKenzie, set and lights, James Bunton, sound, and Andrew Penner, musical composition, do to fill out the space. This is particularly the case in the otherwise visually intoxicating party scene where Romeo and Juliet first meet. Shakespeare in Hyde Park, a collaboration between Canadian Stage and York University, is a tough brief. Classic texts, outside in summertime with all the volatility of weather and ambient noise this brings with it, and on what appears to be a tight budget, which is unfortunate, given that this is the most public-facing element of Canadian Stage's season. Cox O'Connell's approach here nails the assignment through a mix of populist reference and relevant cultural critique. Karen Fricker is a Toronto-based theatre critic and a freelance contributor for The Star. Follow her on Twitter, @KarenFricker2.